Good evening. I'd like to call the Thursday, July 10th, 2025, regular meeting of the North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission to order. In attendance are alternate member Caruso, regular member Hean, Ponder, and I am acting chair Galdenzi. So the first order of business will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. So the next point under 3 would be the minutes from the June 26th meeting, and we can approve them. I'll give you time to review. Mary, Barry, and I were here, so take your time. What's that, Mary?
I read them already.
Okay. Barry, you need a chance? You got it too, yep.
All set.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 26, 2025.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, those minutes pass. Excellent, thanks, guys. So next on the agenda, under 4, public hearing and possible action, it's under A, application 2025-5, 1952 Middletown Avenue, special use permit, request under CGS 8-30G to convert the existing residential dwelling into four apartments, 1-bedroom units. Owner Robert Genera and Gerald Genera. Trustees applicant Tim J. Lee. Okay,
Good evening.
very good. Good evening.
You want to read the notice?
Yeah, and then I'll see who's sitting for the public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing.
Yes. Please insert the following legal ad in the sound on Thursday, June 26, 2025, and Thursday, July 3rd, 2025. Legal notice. North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission. Notice is hereby given that the North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, July 10th, 2025, at the North Branford Town Hall, 909 Foxen Road, North Branford, Connecticut, to consider the following. A, application number 2025-5, special use permit, request under Connecticut General Statute 8-30G to convert the existing residential dwelling at 1952 Middletown Avenue into 4 apartments, 1-bedroom units. Owner Robert Gennaro and Gerald Gennaro. Trustees applicant Timothy J. Lee, Esquire. At the hearing, all interested persons may appear and be heard, and written communications will be received. Copies of proposals are on file for public inspection in the Town Hall Planning Department. Robert Nowak, Chairman.
All right, before that, so seated for the public hearing tonight is members Caruso, Heon, Ponder, and Galdenzi. And I just for formatting, we'll have the applicant, I'll just state it in case folks show up. There's no one in the audience now, but they may come. We will have the applicant present the application. We may have comments, the commission, and Dave can read any comments from staff. And then if we don't have any more comments after that, we can open it up to the public. But as I stated, there's no one in the audience currently, but that may change. Okay, very good. Thank you, Timmy.
Good evening, everybody. For the record, my name is Timothy Lee. I represent the applicant, who is the Gennaro Family Trust. We're here tonight on the property at 1952 Middletown Avenue, which has been in the Gennaro family probably for the last 50 or 60 some odd years. Property is also the home of the Northford Cottages, so you may recognize it as that property. Property itself is located in the R40 district, and it's about 1.73 acres, served by public sewer and well water. So my client is a resident of Texas right now, but he was actually born in the house and grew up in the house. And over the course of time, his parents had converted the main house into 4 apartment units. In all candor, they did not get the appropriate permits from either the building department or the zoning department. Multifamily is not allowed in the R40 zoning district. So when my client the trust acquired property, the town had reached out to my client and said, you can't have 4 apartments in this house, it violates zoning and it violates the building code. So one tenant left voluntarily, and we had to evict the other 2 tenants in order to empty the building. So right now, the building is empty, it's not being used at all. My client is interested in renewing the use as a multifamily house with 4 apartments. They believe that there is a need for the 4 apartments, evidenced by the fact that they've been able to rent these 4 apartments out for the last 20 years. So the only way we really thought we would be able to legalize the use from the zoning perspective was to file an application under 8-30G, which is the affordable housing statute. My understanding is you've had a couple affordable housing applications in the past, so I don't want to bore you with the details of that application. But basically, it allows us to supersede the local zoning regulations and propose a density or use which, a residential use which may not be permitted in the underlying zoning district. So we are using that particular statute to seek your permission to have 4 dwelling units in this particular building. If the commission approves the application under 8-30G, we would then we would be legalized from a zoning perspective. We'd still then need to go to the building department, pull building permits in order to bring everything in the interior of the building to code. So this is kind of the first step in the process. I did see the memo from the fire marshal and from the building official that basically says, if it gets approved, you gotta bring everything to code. We acknowledge that everything's gotta go to code. That's why we evicted the tenant, and that's why we're here at zoning to get the first leg of the approval so that ultimately we can go to building department. Under the 8-30G application, we are required to deed restrict 30% of the units and lease those units to people either making 80% of the median income or 60% of the median income for the greater New Haven area. That deed restriction will be in place for a period of 40 years. Because we're proposing 4 units, we'd have to round up, so 2 of the 4 units would be deed restricted as affordable units for a period of 40 years. 1 would get leased to people making 60% of the median income. 1 unit would get leased to somebody making 80% of the median income. Just for a frame of reference, based on those numbers, and this is kind of a rough calculation, they would generate, or under the state affordable housing statute, that the rent would be about $1,500 a month. As a practical matter, my client had been renting 2 of the units out for $800 a month, 1 of the larger units for $1,500 a month, and another unit for $1,100 a month. So we would anticipate that we'd be able to rent these units out to the same people that had been occupying these properties for the last decade or so and still qualify for the Affordable Housing Act and provide the housing for these people that they need. So,
Can I ask a question quick, since this is right off the tip of your tongue? The 1,500 was an average of the affordable plus 60 plus 80? That was
just
an
an
average
estimate.
of those?
Yeah, well,
I was
probably
wondering
higher,
what-
people making 80% really would pay closer to about $1,500 a month.
That's what I'm
right,
saying.
Yeah.
So the lower end would be lower than that?
A little bit less than that, yeah.
A little less, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, probably between $1,250 to $1,300.
Yeah,
on
okay.
the
I
lower end.
I think the
curious.
fair
Just
rental
curious.
in Northford is like $1,529 a month.
Yeah, okay.
So it'd be 80% of that and 60% of that.
Yeah.
Got it, okay. Yeah, that was more of a curiosity, okay? Any questions right now? I just have it for my own, because I've been through these affordable housing things, so in terms of our jurisdiction, I know the 830G supersedes our local zoning regulations, but what authority, I'm just trying to understand,
So, I mean-
what kind of authority and jurisdiction do we have as a commission to say yay or nay or whatever?
Well, I could just-
Or, you know,
I can just read this
Yeah,
quickly.
please,
That
yeah.
might give you that
Please,
information
yep.
that Municipalities cannot defend an 830 appeal on the grounds that the application does not comply with land use regulations.
Clear.
Instead, to defend an appeal, a municipality must show either, one, the decision was necessary to protect substantial public interests in health, safety, or other matters the municipality commission may legally consider, and that these interests clearly outweigh the need for affordable housing and cannot be protected by making reasonable changes to the proposed development. So, traffic, fire,
Yep.
ecological, wetlands, destruction to ecology, things like that
Got it.
would be in your purview.
Understood.
And you can turn it down if it's in an industrial zone. It's got to be in a business zone or a residential zone. And it's interesting that actually the front portion of this lot is in a business
Business,
district.
yeah.
That's all right. I didn't realize that. I had looked on the field card and said the R40 zone.
Yeah, the first 100 feet, so where the house actually is
It's a business
in
zone.
a business zone,
Which is allowed still.
which would
Indus-
allow you to
industrial not,
have-
but others,
I
yeah.
mean, you could, as of right, have an apartment building there.
Yeah.
But you need to have a commercial, in order to do that in a business zone, the first floor has to be commercial.
Yeah, got it, okay. Any comments, questions?
And
Bingo.
so they have to adhere to the fair housing rental for the 2 apartments for 40 years, did you say?
Yeah, there's a deed, there's, as part of the application, I submitted an affordability plan, which does require us to comply with the ADA, and or the Fair Housing Act, I should say. And there's a deed restriction that runs with the property for 40 years that requires us to rent to people making 80% of the median income and 1 unit to people making 60% of the median income.
And who makes sure they adhere to that?
So the statute requires that if towns, if you're under 10% affordable housing, then you can use the 830G statute to avoid the land use regulations. Once you go over 10%, everything else has to conform. We're at like 2%.
2.5 or so.
2.5. But
To
Mary's,
answer your specific.
Mary's question is about enforcing the
Yeah.
deed restriction for
So-
40 years.
Making sure that
10
they
years from now,
do
yeah.
do low rental income.
What the statute requires and what's in the affordability plan is that every year the applicant's supposed to submit or the property owner is supposed to submit an affidavit to the town swearing that they're adhering to the affordable housing
Oh.
requirement. In this case, just as I mean, it becomes an issue in some towns. In this one, I'm not sure it's gonna be an issue because they have historically rented to people who have been well before that line. So I don't anticipate a problem with this one, but the security you get is that they're required to verify to the town that they're complying with the deed restriction.
And we did get a letter today from the state saying, here's your 10% number. You know, help us verify that number. So we have a chance to go back and say, we have more, we have less.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, certainly the positive for the health and safety of the people in there is we're gonna be up to fire and building codes.
Correct.
Right.
Because that was, I don't know what the situation was, but 4 units in that building.
Well, the owner and his
That was not
attorney
meeting
have
fire
been-
code.
have
Yeah.
been very proactive in terms of reacting to
Yeah, okay.
my cease
Yeah.
and desist letters.
Yeah, good. That's a positive for me. So, do we have, no, it's an existing, yeah, so it's not, we're not looking at
Yeah, we're not
plans or anything.
proposing
There's no
any
site plan.
improvements to the site. It has adequate parking right now.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do significant interior work,
So it's really just interior.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, would there be additional external stairs to meet the, I know
Not
I went
proposing
by it. and
that
I-
unless the building official says that.
Okay, so you can meet it internally, and
Yeah, I mean.
I guess if you have an internal corridor that's fire rated and they go into it, I guess, and then something like that, right?
But, well, that's the right question. That's gonna be
Yeah.
the issue that my
Yeah.
client's ultimately gonna have to
Yeah.
deal with, because I've had some preliminary conversations with the building official. Quite frankly, I'm not sure they're gonna be able to get 4 units in
Yeah,
there. It may
I
end
know.
up being
Yeah.
3 units, because when you do the egress and ingress and you have the
Exactly.
width of the corridors, they may
Yeah.
not be able to fit 4 units in there, and they may ultimately have 3 units, but they wanted to keep the option
Yeah.
open to get 4 units if they can figure out how to do it through, with the building official.
Yeah, but I think our role, Dave can correct me, I'm asking these questions, but it's a fire, that's a fire marshal building
Right.
official, that's why we have those experts. It's in their, that part's in their hands, this is more about the application, so. I mean, it's pretty, I haven't extensively read, it's pretty clear, they're just saying you gotta meet, like Tim
Right.
said, is you gotta meet
I do
the
have some
current-
correspondence
Yeah.
if you want.
What's that?
I do have some correspondence that I would like to
Yeah.
read into the record.
Could you please, yeah, that would be good.
So I have a letter from the Regional Water Authority. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow 3 dwelling units in a pre-existing structure. Based on the information submitted, we have no comment.
Yeah.
So the water authority's happy. This letter is from Lynn Calabrese.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Perkins. I am writing with regard to the upcoming meeting on Thursday, 7/10, regarding a special use permit requested for 1952 Middletown Avenue, Northford. I will be unable to attend the meeting, but would like to submit the following. It appears the owners of the property live in Texas. I do not think promoting absentee landlords are in the town's best interest, especially when it pertains to residential rentals. Look at the condition of Central Plaza, a commercial property with an out-of-state absentee landlord. Unless the town is willing to implement a residential licensing program like that of the Livable City Initiative, City of New Haven, where all landlords are required to comply, pay a licensing fee, and are subject to physical inspections by the city on a regular basis. The fee is based on the number of units. This ensures landlords are present, maintain occupancy standards, the property's overall upkeep, maintenance, and do not operate as slumlords, neglecting the property, which will create safety concerns and blight. Equally as important, it's a vehicle to gather and maintain a database of all landlords who own rental property in town and their contact information. New paragraph. I won't even begin to debate whether or not the property itself should be converted. As a property manager, landlord's agent for the last 30 years, I'd be interested in viewing the actual property and proposed plans. More importantly, I do not believe we should turn our community into a multifamily rental community for several reasons. Most importantly, it's taxing on our emergency management infrastructure. Respectfully, Lynn Calabrese, 41 Ash Drive, Northford. I have another one here. Dear Mr. Perkins, I just read that the Gennaro brothers are looking to turn their parents' house into a 4-unit apartment building. First of all, are they serious? This house is small. There's no way they will be able to do that without adding on and making it look like multifamily housing. If this gets approved, I hope I'm wrong. This end of town is rural and residential. There are a few businesses, yes, but they are few and far between. We don't need apartments in this town. We need housing for families. This plan is not conducted to families since each unit is only 1 bedroom. Please consider opposing this application so as to maintain the character of our little village. Thank you. Cynthia Basil. The next one's short. To whom it may concern, I support the acceptance of 1952 Middletown Avenue 10-30G application. Cara Papa. We like ones like that. And then the memo from the fire marshal. Owner occupant must follow all CGS and FPA Connecticut State Fire Safety and Fire Protection Codes. A fire alarm system will be required with manual pull stations at all exits from the building, smoke and heat detection with a CO detector in all units and community common path of travel. A sprinkler system may be required for this type of application to achieve fire safety protection requirements for each apartment unit. Separate mechanical systems alarm for each apartment. A secondary means of egress must be provided from every sleeping area in each apartment. A plan bearing the stamp of a licensed design professional must be submitted and reviewed by the appropriate departments prior to permit issue. This office would like to stress the importance of minimizing fire load conditions when possible and keeping combustibles away from heat source objects at each facility. It is the owner's responsibility to inspect and maintain full compliance with all fire safety code requirements. That's all I got.
Okay. Just, you said it just, but Dave had mentioned one of the comments about it would require them to expand. There's no intent to do that? It's
No.
using the existing footprint?
Yes.
Unless the fire marshal,
Yeah, their plan is to use the existing
existing, yeah.
footprint. Correct.
And like you said, if anything, it goes from 4 to 3 maybe to accommodate something like that, not
That's
not looking to bolt on an addition.
correct.
Because that would trigger coming back anyway. We'd have to see
Right.
it, right? Yeah,
Correct.
of course, yeah. Okay, so just so we're clear on that.
And I'll just for the record say that Attorney Lee did apply for a variance with the ZBA to try to get it done that way.
Yeah, when we got the notice from the town about the code violations and also the zoning violations, we did initially submit an application for a variance to the ZBA to see if they would allow multifamily at this site, and they basically, rightfully so, said there was no hardship to justify the granting of the variance. So then we kind of went to Plan B and decided to submit the affordable housing application because it was consistent with kind of the rents my client had been collecting at the property over the last decade or so.
And I may have to have you read it again, just because we probably want to discuss it, because it was brought up. So that first letter talked about, they were suggesting like there was safety concerns from maybe traffic or something like that, or some kind of safety concern, and may need you to read, not, you don't have to read the whole thing, but there was, I just want to state it, and then we'll have discussion about, because what you initially told us about, we can deny it if it meets certain criteria. That didn't
Well,
sound like,
she's-
that didn't sound like it met the criteria, but I want to,
Right,
Put
she's
the two
talking
together.
about absentee landlords
yeah,
tend to neglect their property, creating safety concerns and blight.
yeah,
That's,
yeah, that's what I was talking about, yeah. So I think what you read earlier to us was about,
they have to be actual
Yeah,
problems,
exactly.
not
Exactly.
potential problems.
exactly. Is there any questions around that? I just wanted to make sure we kind
No, I
of
mean-
tickled that one out, because they were suggesting it was potential problems, but I didn't think it met the criteria that we
It
needed.
just sounds like it was a blanket statement. There's no proof that they're poor landlords,
Right.
right?
Right,
There's 4 other cottages, right, on that
Right,
property?
they've
And
been renting.
Those are rented properties as well.
7, I think there's 7.
7, and they're all rented.
Any further questions for now? Any further comments?
Nothing further.
All right, so we can I see someone came into the audience. We are going to open it up to the public. So if you'd like to make a statement, you don't have to, but I just noticed someone's here now. So if you'd like to make a comment, statement on the application?
I don't really have
Oh.
anything much to say.
Okay,
I'm just their next door neighbor.
got it. Okay, this is the part, if you did have something, you are more than welcome to come up and make a comment, either for, against, or just a statement. You do not have to, I'm just offering it.
No, I will.
Because this is the part of the meeting that we're opening it up to the public. So just your name and address
my name is Joseph Flynn. I live at 1940 Middletown Avenue, Northford, Connecticut. I live right next door to the property where they want to do the project. I've lived there since 1973, and I really never have had any much trouble at all with them next door or anything that goes on there, except when the numbers for the post office were out of order. Other than that, no trouble at all.
Good, thank you, appreciate that. All right. So, we can close the public hearing and then deliberate. You want, doesn't look, there's no other letters, right?
Nope.
It's 25 minutes or more into the meeting and no one's here, so I'm gonna assume we'll close the public hearing. You all for that?
I agree.
We'll just need a motion to
I'll make
close the
a
public part of the, yeah.
I make a motion to close the public hearing for application number 2025-5.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all in favor. Motion passes. The public portion of the meeting is closed. So now we can deliberate, talk, we can ask questions. Any?
Pretty straightforward.
Right, it's pretty straightforward. They have the right, there doesn't seem to be any
Yeah.
extenuating circumstances.
Dave, I kind of know the answer, I just wanted to be on record. There's not a medium unit size for the 830-G.
No.
Right.
No, there's different rental rates based on the size of the unit.
But it wouldn't differ if it was a 3-unit or 4-unit?
No.
Right.
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, just for me, that's why I wanted to rehear that statement, because Dave's criteria about, impacts to the environment or wetlands and the safety and health and hazards, of the surrounding neighborhood or traffic. It's been existing for many, many years,
It's been
right?
existing for at least 4 or 5 years without any complaints until there were a few tenants in the units that were using services in town, and all of a sudden we got wind of
Yeah.
what was going on, and we found it to be a real safety issue.
Yeah,
And luckily, the owner reacted to my zoning letter, because if we had shut them down from a fire point of view or a building point of view, we would have had to put the tenants up in some sort of a hotel as
Ah.
we fixed the property.
Got it.
But they reacted to my zoning letter, so we didn't have that problem, which
Okay.
worked out nicely
Yeah.
for everybody.
yeah,
And I think some of the cottages were open at that point, so some of the people from the main building could move into the cottages, and it,
okay. Any further discussion, anyone? Commission?
No?
Anything else, Barry?
Nothing
good.
else?
Oh, you have it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve planning and zoning application number 2025-5, request under Connecticut General Statutes 8-30G to convert the existing residential dwelling into 4 apartments with 2 units to be designated as affordable housing at 1952 Middletown Avenue. Assessor map 78, lot 10, zone R40, owner Robert J. Gennaro and Gerald M. Gennaro, trustee applicant Timothy J. Lee Esquire, as contained in the submitted application document, with the following standard conditions: 1C, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 13, and special condition 21. 2 units to be deed restricted for affordable housing, 1 rented for 80% and one rented for 60% of area median income.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion, I think? Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank you.
the
Enjoy the rest of the
motion
summer.
passes. Yep, thanks, Tim. Good seeing you.
All right, talk to you soon.
All right. No old business, no new business, but under other business is the Schedule A discussion and the Town Center form-based code discussions.
So the form-based code that I've given you was, it's pretty much been updated. It has a few problems in it in terms of citing wrong regulations. I mean, just, this was sort of swiped from another town, so
Yeah.
there's some regulations in here that are referred to with their numbers rather than our numbers. Have you had a chance to review any of the form-based stuff that's up on the website, or?
I did a little bit, but a while ago, when we first,
So if you go to this page, which
Yeah.
is like the 5th page or 6th page.
yep,
Gives you the basic, the primary, in our business zones right now, our front setbacks are 50 feet. So if you look at all the strip malls and stuff that we have in town, all the parking's in front.
Yep.
The buildings are pushed way back. This is the opposite. So the primary under A, the front setback is a minimum of 10 feet and a maximum of 20 feet.
Max.
And this would be in Northford Center specifically. When we get into the North Branford one, and we're dealing with 1599, those numbers are probably gonna change because of the steep slopes on that lot and the fact that you can't really get that close to the road with the way it's configured.
and this would be able to be utilized, or we have to?
We're gonna have to bless this and
Yeah, but
approve
I'm
this.
saying, this would apply to 1594 too. This gives flexibility for both situations?
It would, this is
this-
written for Northford, but it would
Yeah.
also apply to North Branford. But I think the primary front setback would be more than 10 feet, it'd be more like 20 feet,
Oh, more, okay,
just because of the way that lot
sloping, okay, yeah.
is
I thought you
on
were
the
saying
corner, 'cause
it
you can't
could be
get-
less, okay, I
You
got
can't
it.
get that close
No,
to
no, I understand.
139.
Yeah. I thought you were trying to say the opposite. I understand, yeah. So this would go, 1594 may go to the maximum 20.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And then, I think the other part of it here, so that the parking setback is no closer than 20 feet to the street. So the parking's basically behind the buildings. And then the lot coverage is 80%, so you can cover the whole lot, 80% with parking, building, stuff, other than green space. And then the facade build-out is the next one, which is the length of the lot. So if the lot is 100 feet wide, you have to build 60 feet
Oh.
of building on that 100 feet. So you're filling up the whole front. I mean, part of this is to try to get back to the old-time downtown center
Street.
where buildings were
Yeah.
connected to each other.
Yeah.
So then that 80% lot coverage ends up getting tied to the amount of parking that's required for each use of the building. So I think you need 4 spaces per 1,000 square feet of residential. So you're gonna have to calculate how much building space you can use versus how much parking space you need. And that's where the developers get to fill the lot up.
Yeah.
And it's based on the square footage of the building, not square footage of the footprint. So if they get 2 floors or 3 floors, first floors are all commercial. Second floors can be commercial or residential. Then you get into the next page, which talks about the massing of buildings on the
Yeah.
lot and how they can be set.
So the diagram's examples, but the tables give you the specifics, so the architect could have different
Right.
different
So you
looks.
gotta, if you have a narrow building on the street that goes way back, so the rectangle, the narrow part of the rectangle's on the street, the maximum width of that is 45 feet. If you have a longer building, then it can be 65 feet, but it only goes back maximum of 65 feet, then it would be a square. So it creates proportional building structures
Yep.
on the lot. So they're not all just whatever some developer wants. They have some design characteristic.
But there's no max building height.
Yeah, there is, down at the bottom, the
It
next
just
one,
says
height.
stories, but not height.
So the first floor is, you can have 2.5 stories.
Right.
First one's 14 feet, second one's 10 feet, and the half story is also 10 feet, but it would have dormers and a sloped roof.
So 34, it's still around 35 though.
It's around 35 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the conversations that Rory and I had recently was, again, looking at 1599, if you have a slope coming down, you could have commercial on the inside. And the second floor would look out at the 139. And then maybe you get 2 stories above that
Yeah.
on the 139, sort of dealing with average grade like we deal with buildings now. So that needs to be tweaked a little bit for that area. And then on the right side of that page, they talk about fenestration, which is the amount of glass that a building has to have. So that the commercial buildings on the first floor need to have at least 60% glass. So you look
Wow.
into the storefront.
Okay.
Fenestration's sort of a big deal with this concept, so that they're open, looking to the people walking by on the streetscape.
Where has this been implemented?
Hamden has a bunch of it.
Yeah. Is this meant for like the Northford and North Branford design districts?
Yeah.
Just there?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Did ever, maybe I missed that originally. So it's just certain.
Just that certain area.
There's certain areas, yeah. It's not, so I was thinking of going up 17, those commercial areas, like this would be challenging, yeah. So this is the design districts, okay, sorry, yep.
right, this would replace the town design
Yeah,
district
got it.
current regulations.
So would this apply to like the Dollar General, all those,
Yeah,
that's in the design district as well?
Yeah.
Okay, good, yeah, that's good.
well, no,
General-
I mean,
Dollar General's not-
they would not be part of it, but we could expand it
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to,
Yeah, because then they could build something closer to the road and have parking behind
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and,
I mean, long-term, I think that's a good goal. It'd take a long time to get the turnover and stuff, but
Well,
you know, as
certainly
things-
in Northford Center, if we can close up all those curb cuts on the east side of the road and get one or two curb cuts in, and they could build close to the road, they could expand their businesses. It would slow the traffic down, it would make a place,
Yeah.
sense of place, and,
Yeah. Okay.
and then it talks about building components or accessory features that increase the habitable square footage or enhance the usefulness of a building are permitted according to the following scheduled building components that are not identified below are prohibited. And then it goes through all these rear additions and dormers and it talks about how to attach buildings to each other. And then you get in, further along, you get into frontage types. So that's the area between the building and the public space and how you deal with that. So you have front porches, you have dining areas, you have stoops, you have little fenced-in areas. There are all sorts of design ideas to integrate the public space to the private space.
Is this, would it be this, the actual regulation that we would craft and submit for public hearing? Would it have this, all this deep detail, or is this more backup? And
This
just
would
pull
be,
the tables forward?
this would be the
This
regulation.
would, that's, okay, that's what I thought. So the diagrams and everything, right? Yeah, part of it, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's helpful to have it.
And then, there's a whole lot of verbiage going on that you should review that just talks about aesthetics and parking and
Yeah.
the nuts and bolts. And again, part of the Northford Design District that we're doing with Scrog right now to try to clean up Northford Center anticipates the possibility of a boulevard going from Middletown Avenue all the way through Ardsley to Mansfield.
Yeah.
So we have another road going back there that we could use as another frontage. So in the latest budget, we got money to do a survey, so we're
Yeah.
about to do a real survey of Northford Center to find out where everything really is. So we can do design work in terms of curb cuts and road changes and
Yeah.
intersection changes and
Right.
trying to get this done by September, October would be a real good goal.
Good.
And I guess the only other sort of major decision that I would throw out is whether this is an optional thing for people to use, or whether they could just use what we have now. Choose A or B.
Wouldn't you be looking for consistency, though, if you were to put this in place? Like, wouldn't you want
Right.
people to do one or the other, so that,
Yeah, I'd rather have them all do the form-based code rather than have an option. I'm just throwing it out there that,
Yeah.
Could it be, is there an avenue, if it was, is there an avenue to allow it if there was some criteria that was maybe similar? I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, like, they couldn't get a ZBA, because it's not a hard, they couldn't prove hardship, right? It's a commercial development thing, right?
right, a hardship
It's
would be
it's
hard.
either, it either is or not, right? Unless we create two options. Okay. Has Scott Small's been involved in this, right?
Yeah, he's seen it, yeah. Yeah, no, I think it builds on a whole lot of what he talked about.
He did, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What does economic development think of this?
They're looking at it.
So what, other than cleaning it up for these things you've noted,
That's about it.
we
Just-
need to,
Just clean it up and make another one for North Branford.
oh, yes, okay.
And we're not meeting again until the end of August. I think we have our meetings the third Thursday in August, so we're like in our summer break after
Yeah.
this meeting. So, I mean, I'd like to get it on the agenda for a public hearing.
Yeah.
And do you think we could do that at our next meeting in August, open the public hearing?
It's our application, so we can keep extending it to ourselves, right? So there's no
Correct.
time points, not that we want to keep doing that, but,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. Bob will be back, I assume, right?
Yeah, I think Bob should be
Yeah.
back.
I mean, I know he was very close to this too, so we wouldn't certainly do anything without he and Ron, but they'll be back by then. And like I said, we can, it's our application, so
Yeah.
we can, if we're not ready and there's a lot of comments or we've got to work through updating the comments, we can just extend it right now.
Right.
I personally think we should, because if you
Yeah.
don't, then it's September, but no sense belaboring it. Barry, you have a thought on that? It's like your
Yeah,
wheels,
no,
the cogs are turning in there, Barry.
No, I mean, we could put it on there. I mean, I just can't guarantee, everybody's gonna be in agreement to move it forward.
Yeah.
No, but at least we get it in the process
Yeah.
rather than just, I mean, we've
Now,
discussed it.
has anybody else that's missing, like Ron, or have they looked at this, or?
Well, it's sort of been on the table for the last 6 months.
For this one, you got 710.
Well, I just wrote that today.
Okay.
This we've had, these we've had for a
Yeah.
while. I've seen, I think you've
Yeah.
written them a few times. And you sent us those videos and stuff, like
Yeah.
months ago.
Right.
That's why I said I looked at them, but that was like 3 or 4 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, no, because the town would like to get moving on the RFI for 1599, or RFQ, RFP,
Yeah.
or something, and we'd like to have at least something preliminary for the developers to look at that would give them an advantage with the form-based code.
Yeah. I mean, that's when discussion comes up. Is it mandatory? Is it optional? Do we, you know? Delcy,
Right.
Hello,
hey,
is this for planning and, for
Zoning.
1952? Or did I?
1952? 1952, right?
1952.
Yeah. Yeah, we already heard it.
You already did it?
Yeah.
I missed it.
There was one person that came in public, and they came very late, but they were able to speak. But it's over.
I guess I'll listen to it or read about it. All right.
Yeah, yep,
I'll go back in my screen now.
no problem.
Good night.
Good seeing you. Yeah, we gotta start somewhere, but then it becomes conversations, you know?
Yeah.
We talk about it, you know? It's good sometimes you get the Scott Smalls, you get maybe you get business developers speaking, you know, you get good
Right.
comments sometimes that could shape and help us as well.
So economic development, they looked at it and they said this wouldn't back us into, it wouldn't hurt us, right?
Right. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no, they're for it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a nice concept. It looks like it's trying to promote walkable, slowing down traffic, all positives, right?
Right.
I think like the Northford Center or the Route 80, the Dollar General area, like you said, like Northford Center is a good example. They got a $500,000 grant. I was on the commission for facade improvement. So they did that facade. You can argue if it's nice or not, but it was better than it was, but it's way back there.
Right.
Right.
And it's just a parking lot. That's all you see.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was 10 feet off and all the parking in the back, that would look nice.
Right?
That's
Absolutely, yeah.
That'd look really nice.
And really, the way it used to be. I mean, stores were closed.
Yeah.
Years and years and years ago. So all those stores in Northford Center would be forward,
Yeah.
and you'd go in and park in the back. Of course, that's not gonna happen, because that's there.
I think it's
Right, but
important.
they could develop another set in the front. This gives them the freedom to do that. They can't do that now.
Yeah. I think it's important to note too, that currently, unless we expand it, it's only the design district, so it's these isolated areas, you know? Like I said, it's not even, I'm talking about that Dollar General, this right now doesn't even apply to that. We could extend it, but it doesn't right now.
Correct.
So it's isolated to our main centers.
So if they had built the library when something like this was in place, the library would have been able to go much more forward and they'd have more parking in the back, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Oh, that, yeah.
Too
I was
bad.
thinking the Smith, because I'm from North Carolina, that's
No,
on a hill.
Atwater.
You ain't moving that thing. Yeah, Atwater, of course, yeah.
I mean, and you're not moving that either, but it wasn't that
No.
long ago that they
Yeah.
did all that work.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a plan like this.
Yeah, I think getting closer to the road helps a whole lot of things.
Mhm.
You know, and the Dollar General strip malls would be great to talk about those too. But,
Mhm.
you know, those are like done. You can't
Yeah,
really-
no, exactly, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you gotta start somewhere.
Is Central Plaza in the design district or just outside of it?
I think it's just outside of it.
Mm.
That would be their own historical district.
I happen to be in the design district.
You are, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, I mean, I think we at least put it on. Barry, you okay
Yeah.
with that? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
Yes.
put it on, and I mean, that doesn't mean anything. We just put it on the agenda, so it's our application. We can keep extending it, we can do what we want with it. Be good to get the public's input, too.
And we could do the Schedule A at the same time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because that's all we've been through this, right? It's all up to date?
Yeah, we're pretty much done with that.
Yeah.
Bill, did you say there was something online that we could look at that maybe was before my time?
Can you send that out?
For the form-based zoning? Yeah, on my webpage, on the
Okay.
planning and
Planning
zoning
and zoning message, yeah.
Okay,
department webpage, like on the right-hand side, there's like a form-based folder that has a bunch of videos and,
okay. I'll make sure I look at it.
Do it when you need to go to sleep. I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. That was your comment.
What?
Do it when you need to go to sleep, like
yep.
it'll put you right out. That was your comment earlier, not mine.
You have to be a geek to really enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
So August 21st, anyone know they're not here? I plan to be here, I don't have
Wonder,
it.
let me, is it the third Thursday?
Yeah,
Board of Ed,
yep.
sorry.
I mean, it's hard to project where you're gonna be, but I don't have any vacation that I know of. So, but, all right. Anything else, Dave?
No,
All right. I need a motion then.
where's Ron?
Yeah.
I know, he's not here, I don't know what to do.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I hear seconds?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Ponder with a second from Ian. With a close, Caruso's close third, but he just didn't make it. All right, thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.